Everybody, yeah, listen up. Welcome to the Churros. We about to drop. We about to drop. Hit you with the slop. We know you like that goodness. Eat that sticky grub. Yeah. Make sure that you dip them in the cup. They come out so nice, hot and steamy with the chocolate top. But man, I can't even cup. I need to stop. All this chatter got me flattered. It's gon' flat me flop. Alright, yeah, steady, here we go. We about to start this funky show, so let it flow. Coming from the two most underrated duo are the two journals, Kiyan and the DIEGO. So grab a seat and chill your dough. Listen to my low baritone voice go. I like to take things easy, nice and slow. Nothing better, get some weather, so let's start the churros. So let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Churros y Tácticas Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 7th. Sorry we're a couple days late, but we are here. It doesn't matter when you show up. It matters that you show up. That's all that matters. Sometimes you just got to show up. And we're here, and I'm doing the intro because Real Madrid has 2 wins under their belt since last time we recorded. Real Madrid beat Celtic. Real Madrid beat Real Betis. The two teams back-to-back with green and white strips.
It's the second time I have to remind you. Yep,
it's already a blur, and I'm losing my mind already. And of course, if we had recorded this tomorrow, which we are recording one tomorrow, Diego will do the intro because they beat Sevilla pretty comfortably, and they will put, no doubt, 100 goals past poor Viktoria Plzen.
Stop. You always like to do this. You always start to jinx. You come in with these jinxes.
That's not a jinx. That's reality.
Hey, they're undefeated. Viktoria Plzen deserves respect. They're in the group of death. They're undefeated. They're top of their league. Joint with Sparta Praga.
If you win less than anything...
One game less.
Anything less than 10-0, I'm doing the intro tomorrow because that's embarrassing if you don't beat those guys 10-0.
Hey, look, I just got finished calling the youth league, the UEFA youth league between Barca and Viktoria Plzen. Was really excited to do that, Kiyan. Really, really very excited. Did my prep work, caught up on the kids, and just a very interesting team, man. I gotta say, I don't know how Castilla's looking, but Magie, of course. But in terms of Barca, the under-19 side, the Juvenil A, they got some great talent, and they won 3-0. It was landslide. Should have been much more. Victor Bayer, the goalkeeper of the under-19 Viktoria Plzen side, had to make a ton of saves. Literally attempts on goal. It was 20-1 when the game finished. It was crazy. In any case, obviously also there, the group is very tough. So at home in the Johan Cruyff Stadium, it had to be nothing but 3 points. And the same as tonight, Kiyan, you're right. It has to be a win because anything less, it's almost basically in the group, it's bye-bye. Your ticket and stay home in this case, because the competition is going to be so fierce that a game at home against Viktoria Plzen literally... with all respects, but the most humble link, right? The weakest link in the group, the most humble team. All teams will be looking to pick up 3 points against them, whereas they will be happy with a point, of course. So it's going to be interesting. A good job for Oscar Lopez's side for getting those. It was a great game. I have something more to say about that, but go ahead.
I don't got much to add. I was going to ask you what the score of that game was, but it was 3-0. I looked it up. Real Madrid's youth... I
saw Madrid beat up Celtic 6-0.
6-0, yeah. In that, UEFA Youth League is always interesting. We've actually done well there in the last couple of years. So, obviously, we won it with Raul. We literally won the whole thing. The Real Madrid DNA goes through with the system too. So
here we go. How many youth cups you guys have?
I don't know.
This will be interesting.
I'll look it up.
Oh, that's all right. We've got 2. Barca's got 2. I think the if I'm not, I should know this, Jesus, but I think we're joint leaders with Chelsea and 2 each.
Well, it only started in 2015.
Right.
So yeah, you and Chelsea both.
So you're talking about what? The one with Raul? Is that the European Cup, the equivalent? Let's say.
It was the same. It was a UEFA Youth League title. So yeah, it started in 2000.
Right, but what was it called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Ah, sorry, you mean Raul as coach, for crying out. I thought you meant as a player when he took you all the way. I thought there was like an equivalent when he was a player. Sorry, Raul coach.
No, man. Churros!
Excuse him.
Yeah, no, of course. You forgot Raul
Disculpas.
is coaching Castilla. So let's see. Barca and Chelsea both have 2. And then Benfica has 1, Red Bull Salzburg has 1, Porto has 1, Real Madrid has 1. So that's it. That's the list.
All right.
Oh man,
Okay.
This sucks. Now you know about this. Barca has more UEFA Youth League titles than Real Madrid. That's it. It's over. You're not gonna let this go. You already know.
Hey, it's just I just added I added to the other trophies, the European trophies that all the other sections have won, where we
the hot dog eating
outshine.
competitions, the FIFA tournaments, all that stuff.
The hockey team.
More than Champions League.
Show respect to the sections. Stop it. Anyways, how's it going, Kiyan? This is crazy. We're recording this on a freaking Wednesday. I imagine our little listeners be going, for crying out loud, what the hell's going on with these dudes? It's been you've had a crazy week. Before we get into football things, your car broke down, stocks are crashing, the world's coming to an end, and you had meetings and whatnots. Your week has been intense.
Yeah. So
what do you want to get off your chest? This is therapy for you too.
No, my life is great right now. I mean, a little bit of an emotional week, not for bad reasons. Like I don't care. I honestly couldn't care less. My car broke down. Yeah, I'm like literally had to go through emergency funds for that. But whatever, life goes on. But I dropped my oldest son Luca to his first day of school today. That was super emotional. So big day here. Big day. Thinking about him all day. Hope he's doing well. I'm sure.
Back to school, also for us here.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry, what?
Yeah, back to people don't know how great it is for parents if you're not a parent. Back to school is basically.
I was more clapping for that than it being his first day. It was more like he's going to school.
He's out of the house.
It's like
out of the house. He's gone, and yeah, so super emotional day, as you know, because Lolo already hit that milestone, right? Your oldest son, your oldest child, yeah.
It's now society's job to raise our kids.
Oh,
yeah, Lorenzo's been going.
I'm not sure that's a good thing, but the system.
Hey, it's a crazy world out there. You're happy with the school, though?
It's a good school. It's we are in this neighborhood primarily because actually the school is great.
Oh, you're one of those. Okay, you're like elbow your way into a neighborhood.
What we gotta do, man. We gotta make sure the legacy lives on. All right, so. Where do you want to start? Because I feel kind of weird talking about the weekend now. We're so far away from it, and there's only really Champions League games.
Well, we got to start with. Have you discussed Madrid's near win over in Scotland on other podcasts? Or
near win? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Let's just say I had hopes in the beginning that Celtic were going to get, put on the pressure a little bit. I always know that Madrid was going to win, and even if Celtic did manage to score, then I know the script. Anyways, 3-0, the champions pick up 3 away points. I mean, Celtic. What can you say? Although this is I thought about you watching because in a way, and I didn't see much coming from the Twitter account unless I missed it. But you guys such a close affinity to Rangers, of course, and Celtic and Barca have a sort of relationship. Did you see it as sort of, we're going to do this for our brothers or our cousins or whatever you guys call each other?
I personally don't care
much.
It's a great question. I personally don't care about it much. I think the whole thing is hilarious, but the Managing Madrid Twitter account, which includes me, obviously, has a field day with this because Rangers fans absolutely love us. They, every time Real Madrid plays, they tweet at the Managing Madrid account. They say "Hala Madrid." They were like thanking us so much for beating them yesterday, and because Celtic obviously beat Rangers 4-0, the last weekend, right?
Yeah.
And so we put out a tweet. We put out a tweet saying that's what you get for beating Rangers after the game. And like there was like woke up this morning and I checked, there was like almost 9,000 likes, like hundreds of comments from Rangers fans saying "Hala Madrid, thank you." It's hilarious to me. So yeah, there's a whole thing with Rangers and Real Madrid and Celtic and Barcelona, and I don't. Yeah. So
I don't know if that affinity, like the, cariño, the love is so close between Celtic and Barca. It's definitely a good relationship. I experienced it myself. I just don't know if I never see much on Twitter. Now, I'm not, of course, the account manager or, community manager for a major Barca platform, and it's not something I'm looking out for. I just don't know if there will be as much. There were exchanges of scarves. When I went there, during the 7 years I lived in the UK, I had the pleasure to go to so many, the best stadiums really. Anfield being basically the only one I didn't go to. But there was, for example, Stamford Bridge, there was animosity in the air. There was tension. I've got some great stories. I won't tell them now. I'll save that for Friday, but about interactions with me and Chelsea fans, literally guys from the Chelsea firm, on several occasions, mind you. And anyway, that aside, with Celtic, it was all love. Apparently at Anfield, it was love as well. But like I said, I don't know if it's like that on social media. I just know about this whole Rangers and Madrid thing mainly from. Or that it's such a public love affair, let's say, from you guys, like from Managing Madrid, because I see, there's a lot of kind of chatter between you guys.
Well, I've said this many times before, but if you Google Celtic, Rangers, Real Madrid, Barcelona, there's actually articles that go deep into history about why this exists. It's actually an alliance. Like Celtic and Barca are actually allies, while Rangers and Real Madrid are actually allies, and.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, no, there's actual entire history behind it.
Lay down.
That goes
Hit
back.
me with it.
I don't really, to be honest, I didn't really remember what it was. That's the truth. And there's actually long articles, but we can do a podcast about it maybe. We're also long overdue for a Figo podcast. By the way, so Chelsea Barca is obviously a huge one because of your recent history. I think most not even talking about some of the epic battles you guys had when I was a kid, like the 3-1 at the Camp Nou, which won into extra time. Then you won 5-1. Remember that? The Torre Andre Flo.
I was there.
The Torre Andre Flo era. That's so much. I don't think there was animosity, but the stuff with Balak
Mourinho and Rijkaard.
Balak, Drogba, like that era.
Before.
Even before that?
Started with Mo when Mo was their manager and Rijkaard was here as coach with Ronaldinho and everything. That's when it really started getting, all of a sudden it was like, what the fuck? Why does Mourinho hate us so much? He was saying all kinds of shit in the media, and kind of picking at Rijkaard, talking shit about Puyol, I remember as well. So, it was during that time where I had my little encounters with firm guys, again, twice. Once I was scalping tickets outside of Stamford Bridge. Not a good idea. Fully dressed in Barca gear. Sky Sports came and interviewed me, and I was wearing an army hat, like a backwards hat. Anyway, I don't want to digress because these are two stories that take their time to unravel.
Scottish Twitter, by the way, is a crazy place. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of Scottish Twitter users. Football Twitter. Scottish football Twitter specifically. Yeah. Just saying.
There you go. That's a great add-on to my scalping ticket story.
Yeah, I don't because just because you mentioned you only know about Rangers Real Madrid through that whole Twitter exchange, but there's a whole. Honest, every single nation has a crazy Twitter place. I know about Belgium Twitter because of anytime you tweet about Hazard, they come out in the masses, to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
If you tweet about Yeah, if you
They have
tweet
a hope, huh?
anything negative about any Brazilian, they will find you. They will hunt you down. Ronaldo Twitter, Messi Twitter, they search those players' names and they go and start hunting people who they don't even follow just because they saw this thing that they don't agree with. And I don't know how it works, but in my mind, the way I picture, because this is so far out of my reality of the way I personally behave, but the way I picture it is that they're just kind of like, I don't know if it's like a dark room or a Discord server or wherever they interact with each other, and they all look like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings to me. They and
That's my guy.
And I like him, man, but you know, sometimes I think he goes too far with stealing the ring and shit. But he's a good dude. But like, you know, like I feel like they're all in it, and they're all sitting, and then someone searches and finds something, and then he notifies everyone else in the community, sends a link, and then it's like, attack this person because he said this about our favorite player, and they all come out in the masses. That's how it works. That's how I believe it works.
That's interesting. I suppose you're right. I've never, I'm not so active on social media as you. I once experienced it actually with a hardcore Kobe fan and his account handle. And it was a good one. But he turned out to be some big troll that like he got a kick. His account handle was like, "I'll defend Kobe against anything." And I was going into it. I was like, yeah, but MJ this, MJ. And he just kept hitting me with Kobe stats. And he would like, I didn't notice, but he was retweeting my tweets to his account. And he was like, look at this fucking clown, this, that. And I only caught wind of that after. And I saw all these like interactions where I'm like saying, yeah, but Jordan's 6-0. And Jordan is the original OG, the original GOAT. I don't know. I was being trolled hardcore, but that was sort of the first, my one and only experience, really. Obviously, here and there with Madridistas. That's what I'm talking about. Barca culé.
Kobe definitely has a big one, big following. LeBron, MJ. I mean, like I would consider joining if there was the MJ one. That's the only one I think legitimately and scientifically is like makes sense to join because that one is infallible. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I don't care.
Wow. I'll send you that account of the dude. He'll argue.
I'm not interested
for Kobe.
in that. Well, I forget which Eminem album it was, but one of Eminem's recent albums. I'm not a fan of his new stuff, to be honest. But I tweeted out I'm not a huge fan of one of his new albums, and then the Eminem army came out. I'm like, the fuck! I don't have any Eminem followers. Where'd you guys come from? Like they just came out in the masses.
That's interesting, man.
Shout out!
It's so funny you say this. Mm.
I got to give a quick shout out, bro, because I don't know I'm not sure if you got a chance to hear about him, but a rapping freestyle legend in the community, Pat Stay, someone I actually lived on the same street as, one of the nicest human beings, was stabbed to death a couple days ago, and it was big news in the hip hop community. And I've been meaning to send you his stuff because he was arguably the greatest freestyle rapper ever. And Drake has said he's probably the best ever. Eminem gave him a huge shout out after his death. And so remind me, I might see if I can maybe pin one of his freestyles at the end of this video if anyone's interested, but you would love his stuff, man. So shout out to Pat Stay, really amazing human being. And I'm so sad that this happened. It was gutting. It was heartbroken. It was really gutting, especially for everyone who grew up with him and knew him. So shout out to Pat Stay. Rest easy, man. You would love his
rest
stuff.
Rest in peace, Pat Stay.
I'm going to send you his stuff.
Please do. Please do. I never heard of him. How old was he?
He was 36. A couple years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's super sad. How come? What was the stabbing? What was the reason? Just a crazed fan?
I don't know the story.
Doesn't sound too controversial of a figure, right?
But he's not the type of person you would go and
sure,
like have beef with or had enemies. And from what I have heard, and I don't know the true story behind it, but from what I've heard, he was literally just trying to break up a fight in a bar and trying to make peace. And was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So. Yeah. Well,
before I was going to say, when you were mentioning this whole the craziness behind social media, and I was going to mention that I saw this video of Method Man went viral. You might have seen it, Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan originally. Because talking again about social media, people just went crazy when he announced that he wasn't joining the Wu-Tang in this new, I don't know if it's a world tour, I think it might be, or at least in the US. It's a big tour nonetheless. I think Nas is on it too. Nas is on there, Busta Rhymes. He mentioned, anyway, he announced he wasn't going, and people just went crazy, and were threatening him, his family, and again, it kind of ties in with a little bit, I guess, even though it sounds more of a freak accident, this Pat's Day thing. But when this social media craze spoils over into real life, when people are like threatening your life for something as silly as like him, because he was in Bogota, he was in Colombia doing a movie. He's like, I can't come, and apparently it was so big, like this backlash of this whole community that was just outraged that he wasn't joining the tour. He felt the need to post a video, like go on social media, Insta, wherever, and address this, and got really kind of serious and emotional about it. Yo, man. Crazy times, crazy fucking times. Rest in peace to Pat's Day. Looking forward for some of his stuff.
Yeah, you would love it.
Now, that said, you want to cross over to the freestyle? You want to drop a little? I suppose this is as good as time as any before we actually start talking some football.
It's a good reminder. So Diego had mentioned that he's working on a project where he's going to try to deliver us a freestyle rap in the middle of every free podcast we do. Now, sometimes he's been able to do it. Sometimes he hasn't. Today, he has one ready for us. So we're going to press play on it right now. And as a reminder, as I said this before, I have never heard this. So I'm about to hit play, and I'm about to listen to it for the first time, as all of our listeners have. So Diego has cooked something up for us last minute, by the way, like just before we started recording. This is not like...
Yeah.
Like, people need to know.
I don't know how it's come out.
Diego does not like pre-plan these and like write these out, and then there's like years of editing. It's like literally like, no, before... He made this before we started recording and sent it over. So I'm going to press play on this. This is going to be our little break, and then we're going to talk about some football when we come back. All right, so are you ready?
We will. It's a quick shout out, Kiyan. Yeah, sorry. Quick shout out to Fonosaur, M-Fun. Check out his deeds in the description below, as always. Thank you, buddy. I hope I do justice your tracks. Like I said, I haven't even heard it, so I mixed it down, dropped it, sent it over to Kiyan. So I'm kind of hearing it for the first time myself. M-Fun, Fonosaur, check him out. Details in the description. Just a fucking champion and amazing producer. Enjoy.
All right. You have it ready there too?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to hit press play on this. 3, 2, 1.
Hello again, welcome to another Churros. Welcome to that freestyle, September 7th, Wednesday. What? You know what it is. You can't tell, I got a smile on my face, living good as hell. Still problems dwell, still a rat in the race, trying to rebel. I spent some time in hell, I took a detour, now I'm focused to excel. Me encuentro a Michelle, me da the double tap, mi mademoiselle. They'll scream out infidel, but there's so many minds to dispel. It's for the clientele, let's get rich, bitch, just like Dave Chappelle. 1, 2, 3, ya sabes lo que es. Fonosaur and dissect, you're now fucking with the best. Let's see what's next. Coming at ya, Churros. Let's giggity get it. Kiyan, buddy, over to you, homie. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Do it. They want you to do it.
Yeah. What up? Diego and Kiyan. Churros. Coming at you on a Wednesday. Diego rocking another sick beat. And I'm just here chilling. Cause I ain't got no freestyle beats. But I got listening ears. And I can chill and I can vibe to this sick beat. And I like it. It's some good shit.
Nice one. Fonosaur, M-Fun. Go check his stuff out. He is a great musical artist. I would go far as to say genius. And he makes just really nice beats. nice songs. Check them out on Spotify. Check them out on all of the places, available places where you listen to your music. SoundCloud as well. Anyway, links are in the description below. As always, thank you, and fun. Thank you, Fonosaur. And yeah, hopefully more goodness to come soon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly do. And with that being said, while the beat still continues in the background, why don't we cross on over to some footballing matters. Liga, Champions League. Barca is about to play in an hour's time. Big win for Los Blaugrana over the weekend away in Sevilla. I'm very curious to know your thoughts, of course, on that performance. I mean, in my opinion, a fantastic performance. Yeah. Let's get it into it. So 45 minutes into the pod.
What was so the thing is we're in that tricky spot where it doesn't really make sense to talk about tonight's games, because I think this podcast will probably go up after tonight's games or somewhere in between as they're happening, because I got a lot of editing to do and it doesn't really make sense to talk about it. And we're also a little bit far removed from the weekend's games. I want to talk about some things from the weekend, and I got to brush up on these with my own notes, which I'm pulling up because I don't really remember. But
sure,
I was disappointed with Sevilla. And
of course you were.
Part of it is not really their fault. I mean, they had an exodus in their back line. They lost their best defenders. So I don't know who I'm not going to pinpoint blame on Lopetegui. I'm not going to pinpoint blame on like certain players. It is what it is. I was, by that same token, impressed with Barcelona.
You must have been happy though at the beginning. You must have been I mean, Sevilla were in it, man. If it was those offsides, Ter Stegen saves.
I knew the same way you knew what was going to happen against Celtic. There's a gulf in talent between these two sides. They could have. I think even if Sevilla capitalizes on one or two of those, they're still losing that game in the end. I think Barcelona were too much. The gap between them was clear. And also, the biggest problem, apart from their finishing and their offsides, which, by the way, we have to give credit to Barcelona for making sure those, their defensive line to make sure that those were offsides. Their biggest barrier was
credit to the linesman too.
Credit to the linesman. They were all legit offsides, were they not?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. So the biggest problem that they had was that midfield has no steel in it. They're not keeping up with anyone on the counterattack. Isco's not that guy. Isco is also not to blame, by the way, because it's not his job to be that guy. But he's like, if you pair him and Rakitic together, you better have some kind of control on the game for a long stretch of the play, because they're not going to be the ones who are going to save you in defensive transition. Isco missed a good chance. He also played a couple of really nice through balls. He did his part, I think, in some way, but he also needs to work his way into shape, and he needs a certain structure around him to make it work. And also, I gotta pull up my notes. Hold on, let me just pull up my notes to see what I do and I don't remember. But yeah, it was like it was a classic case of this was just a better Barcelona team. And I don't really know. Sevilla's in big trouble, obviously, and they got rocked last night as well. Not in a good spot. So yeah,
we've created a monster, Kiyan.
I saw you tweeting out nervous tweets from the Churros account.
Nah, I wasn't nervous. It was pretty clear. I mean, there was maybe. I think all I said was like they need to capitalize on these chances. I don't even remember what else I said, but what were your takeaways? Because I know you're dying to get rid of get those off your chest.
I'm excited, man. Can't help but to be excited. Look, what can you say about this team? They continue to grow in front of our eyes, but I think a game where you finish 3-0 over in the Sanchez Pizjuan, despite all of the problems that Lopetegui's having far, I think it's, what is it? I mean, just the 1 point they have at the moment, right? It's not looking good, certainly. And after Tuchel's firing, you're kind of like expecting Sevilla to be like, all right, you're next, like next big coach of a big team that's going to get the axe given recent results. Tuchel was a complete surprise, though. I haven't even asked you about that. But when the MVP of the game is Gavi, and fully deserved, and you have Lewandowski scoring, you have Rafinha, putting in his first goal, continuing to show very positive signs. Dembele and his leadership, his speed, his movements on the field, they're mesmerizing. I love it. And sometimes one or two might even miss my eye, and then I see the replay and you see how, he dukes his defenders. I'm just really excited. I hope he stays healthy. It's been 9 months since his last injury. He's coming out in the press. I'm talking about Dembele, of course. I mean, being a spokesperson of that group, una portavoz, a leader, showing leadership qualities, showing maturity. It's, we forget that we relate, and it's really good, I believe, that Dembele is adopting this more physical presence as well on and off the pitch. I mean, and because I think in a lot of our minds was still the Dembele from 5 years ago, the shy, scared kid, really, that was brought in in near record numbers by transfer money. I mean, with the expectation of filling the boots of a Neymar, playing alongside of Messi and Suarez, and then just breaking down, buckling under the pressure, and also probably some arrogance. I think he's willing to accept that, at least from what you read in his interviews, that he's changed his habits, right? He's grown up, he's matured, he puts in the work now, he puts in the hours, he realizes that it's not just talent that is going to get him or continue to get him very far. And like the physios at Barca said, they're like, look, it's in your hands. Your career can stop today or just be a flop, or you can get serious and get healthy, become a professional football player and step up to the plate. And I think that he's done that. Early days, I speak with humility when I say these words, but of course, I'm excited from what I'm seeing at the moment. Wins against Real Sociedad, Sevilla, Valladolid by 3 goals or more, 3-4 goal margins, and getting slow out the gates against Rayo Vallecano side. But that is in the past now. We're in second. We'll see how this Champions League campaign will start for Barca, which is a must-win. It's a fucking must-win because you draw points and you can forget about it.
You've already won it.
It's a must-win.
You've already won it.
Well, whatever it is. It to me, look, Kiyan, maybe I don't know if you're going to understand, and this is not as a dig, but it's a how do we win tonight. Then I want to see, progression of what we've been seeing so far.
You don't want to do like a half-assed win. You want a proper domination.
Yes.
So
yes.
You should be excited. You absolutely should be excited based on what you see. I want to comment on a couple things. Rafinha looks better than he did in the Rayo game. It's completely understandable. He's in a new league. Maybe that he wasn't perfect against Rayo. There's nothing wrong with that. It's expected that your first game is not great, but he's been good since. Dembele is one of the most talented players I've seen in the past 5 years. What does that mean?
No, you touch your mic and all of a sudden you sound robotic, but now it's fine again.
Okay. Yeah, the Dembele is one of the most talented players I've seen in the past 5 years, and it's undeniable that when he's running at a defender, and if you're an opposing team and an opposing fan watching that, you're kind of worried. Okay, this is kind of terrifying. He's extremely talented. Does he make some bad decisions sometimes? Yeah, but I think that comes with it. That comes there's no perfect player. Sometimes you just have a really talented player who's capable of creating the most chances of anyone in Europe, which Dembele, statistically speaking, he's up there, number 1 to 3 last season or something was, and he didn't even play that much. He wasn't even playing the whole season. So he has that in his repertoire. So that's good news if he stays healthy. Ansu being eased in, doesn't need to start every game. That's, I think, also a plus for you guys. It's I think, better than, so there's less pressure on him. That's a good thing. And then Lewandowski is just murdering people. That he's just a different breed. I said it on Twitter that Lewandowski is the best player you guys have had since Messi, and there's zero doubt in my mind about that's true. Some people said Dembele is more important. To me, there's Dembele who is really important, but then there's a different stratosphere that Lewandowski sits at, and you guys have that in your team now, which you haven't had since Messi. So the ability to maybe not play so well, but then have Lewandowski in your team to I got this guy is really huge for you guys. So, so that's that. And I was also thinking a lot about like the fact that you guys lost Aubameyang, and I think that obviously hurts your depth a little bit if something happens to Lewandowski, but it was still great business, all things considered. And you guys can put Ferran there. You can put, I suppose you would go through a false nine. Am I missing someone I feel like I'm missing somebody that you could put there.
Memphis.
You have Memphis, yeah. So it works. It's fine. You guys have enough depth there. Koundé. How impressed
are you with Koundé? I was gonna literally just ask you.
The pass to Lewandowski was unbelievable for that goal.
Beaut.
You guys have depth all across the back line. Like everyone's saying, oh, you need wing backs and like this. Am I going crazy, or is Sergio Roberto completely underrated? Every time I see him play, he does good things, and I feel like no one talks about him. Is he underrated or overrated, or accurately rated? I don't know, based on your assessment.
Look, there's just a lot of controversy and conflict that comes when his name is mentioned because of the recent contract, situations and the talk.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he got renewed and. I mean, now we've got. By the way, I'm interviewing Marcos Alonso and Bellerin tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool.
Give me two questions you would want to ask each. Before, of
Marcos
course.
Alonso and Hector Bellerin.
I didn't know about Marcos Alonso's like deep history in football. Like that heritage in that family is insane. From his great grandfather. Well, in Madrid, his grandfather won 5 Marquitos, I think his name won 5 Copas with Real Madrid, 5 European Cups.
His grandfather is Marquitos?
His grandfather. Yes.
Dude,
that's his grandfather.
Is one of the greatest defenders in Real Madrid history. I'm literally writing about him now.
That's his grandfather.
That's crazy. I was literally writing about him yesterday in my book, Marquitos. You should ask him. I mean, you can't ask him about Marquitos on Barca TV, so you can't ask him that. So. But that's amazing.
Tell us. 5 European Cups.
Marquitos is
from 56 to 60.
Okay, so just something on Marquitos. It's kind of fuzzy back then. Sometimes positions were all over the place. Like, Di Stefano didn't have really like one position, or like Puskás, widely known as a striker, often played on the wing. You had like Marquitos is like known as a right back, but like sometimes they played like 3 at the back. Sometimes he was a center back, but primarily Marquitos, he was on the right wing defending, and no one could dribble past him. And like talk about like he has 5 European titles. Like he was amazing. People should go look up Marquitos, incredible player. I think there's some highlights of him too. You can actually watch full games as well, which is what I did. And his dad played for Barca, obviously.
And his great grandfather played for Barca too. It's crazy.
I wonder.
That heritage is that football legacy in that family runs deep.
So does he support Barca? I mean, obviously he's going to
say
he's from, like.
Is de Castilla, right? He's from the La Fábrica.
I know, but he also obviously has ties with Barca and is going there now. So.
Yeah, he said in the presentation, that his father used to take him to the Camp Nou. And that, since then it was a dream. I'll be asking. So what do you want me to ask? What should I ask? One question each. If you just had one question. Dun, 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 dun.
With Marcos Alonso, I'd be interested to know what he feels is like the difference in Barcelona to what he's used to at Chelsea, like tactically under Tuchel.
I got that one. Okay. Tactically, okay.
Well, just like because there's different tactical philosophies.
It's still early days.
Well, just like he knows the Barca philosophy, what Xavi's trying to do, and Tuchel had a very
I'm definitely asking that
specific type of system, 3 at the back. I mean, he was so good offensively for Chelsea as a wing back. So I suppose you can, whatever. Because, like, the questions I would actually ask him, you can't ask him on Barca TV. And Bellerin...
That's a great one. I'm writing it down.
I don't know, man. All the good questions, like, you can't ask him on Barca TV. I don't know. Just ask him, like, what's his favorite food or some shit. I don't know. I don't know.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
But because I would ask Bellerin, like, you know, something like, where do you see yourself in all of this? You know, what do you bring to the table that Araujo or Koundé doesn't at the right back position, or Sekou?
I can ask him that. Of course, I can ask him that.
He can't. Like, you
I
can't.
can
He
totally
can't
ask
throw his
him.
teammates under the bus. By the way, did you?
No,
see...
I can say there's heavy competition. Como te destacas? Like, how do you differ? What do you bring to your position, to that position? What do you add?
Did you see?
What are you gonna say?
Patrick Beverly's interview yesterday with the Lakers?
See, but I saw there was commotion where he's like, Braun and Davis are playing with me, right?
Guys,
Something
something wrong with that dude, man. Imagine if you signed like Lewandowski, who could literally say this if he wanted to. He would never. But imagine if you signed Lewandowski and you were interviewing at Barca TV and you asked him, "Are you excited to, you know, play with Ansu and Dembele and like be coached under Xavi?" And he comes out and he says, "They're playing with me. Like, Xavi's lucky to be here with me." Like, what the fuck? You're Patrick Beverly, man. He's saying LeBron and AD are playing with me. And no, so this was the full quote. He said, "They're playing with me. I made the playoffs last year. They didn't. These are your new teammates. Yeah. Where's the culture?"
I know. But
how
Patrick Beverly, I mean, they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have some history, you know? There's
with Westbrook.
I would say almost clearly.
Yeah.
Right.
So him and Russell Westbrook have a long past, going back to when Beverly was with Houston and Russ was with OKC. They hated each other, and so now they're on the same team. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you're the Lakers, you got to think about, like, does culture matter when we're acquiring players? Like, what's the philosophy? I don't know. Anyways, that's for a different podcast.
You see, it does.
Yeah.
We can talk about all that. All right, buddy. Well, this was fun.
Less than an hour before the Champions League game starts. I want to get.
Yeah, I got a bunch of families home. I got mouths to feed, butts to wash, kids. That's my kids. Okay, don't get and my own. Fine, I'll wash my own too. But stuff to do and a kickoff. I'm excited for this. I'm excited the Champions League is back. I'm excited to hear that music. That little time in hell, in the Europa League hell, done me good to be hungry and motivated for the appreciate group phase of the Champions League. I bet you not a lot of Madridistas appreciate the group phase no more. But it's ignited new passion and also this morning's game with the kids.
Yep. So the plan is, Diego, you and I are going to be back tomorrow over on patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. So back-to-back pods, because we can't record on Friday this week, so we're recording on Thursday. So we'll put out a call for questions maybe, and then talk about whatever happens tonight. It's a fun episode, man.
Sound good.
Thanks for doing this as always.
Always.
Catch you next time. Catch you tomorrow.
All right, buddy.
Take
You
care.
too.
Peace.
Peace.